Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm your host, Johnny Flores, and you're listening to Metal Gear Resurrections. It's the show with hot metal and hotter gears. On today's show, I'm joined with Sam Wright of the OG Metal Gear Mondays podcast crew, both witty and hilarious YouTube channel Sam vs. Sam. So, Sam, I always like to ask the guests, how are you with spicy snake buns?
Oh man, I've done a lot of just kind of random stuff
Mm,
since the podcast is. I mean, I guess the biggest thing is I wrote a book, so that's
yes.
kind of the biggest thing that I've been doing since the podcast ended. Um, I was writing
Mm,
concurrently while doing the podcast, but basically that was the project that I took up when because the podcast kept going for a while. They had the
yeah,
Revengeance stuff with Chris Warren and Tori, um, and I stepped away from doing it and kind
yeah.
of passed on the baton to them. And um, I realized I was like, wow, I miss doing stuff. And so I kept doing my YouTube stuff, and
Mm.
um, I started writing a book back in 2020, and here I am. It's I don't know the timing of this is
I mean,
but
I could release it around the same time your book, which is the 15th, right?
yeah, September 15th. So I mean, regardless of when it comes
Mm,
out, I don't want to dictate your schedule, but September 15th, whether it's now or whether it's coming or
yeah.
whatever, that's the magic day for the book. So it's coming out very
Oh,
soon. Yeah, it happens. I've
yeah.
done there's a podcast that I've guested on a couple times that I love being on,
Mm,
called Amusement Sparks, and they take he the host of that show will take um like media properties, and then
mm,
he talks with a guest about designing an amusement park based on the property that you're talking about. And
mm,
so I've been on there to make a Metal Gear amusement park with him before, which was very
mm.
interesting. But he prefers no cursing, and I'm usually good about not doing it, but that's why I like to ask. So
Because you know what? So far, like I've had like well guests I've mostly listened to on their podcast platforms, and for me to settle down, it's like oh, I need something like not be so amped up and hyper. I'll just like
yeah,
let me just drink something real quick,
yeah, take a sip,
and
calm down.
yeah, and usually it's like when I'm like all like energized and frantic, I'll just like go and like in a rant of like rambling on and just cursing nonstop. So
Yeah, it happens.
I just save myself the aggravation and anything else and just hit that explicit button when I
Yeah,
publish these
make
out.
it easier.
But yeah, I mean, from what I've told from other people is that like this is almost like a digital journal of everybody's experiences when it comes to like the Metal Gear series. And
Hmm.
I pretty much like I start with that and I say, hey, if you want to like talk about anything else that you don't normally get to like say or like put out there, I always say like, hey, feel free to do it. And pretty much like it's been working in the past now. It's been about a
Cool.
year almost,
All right, that
or
seems to be working.
gaining on that.
A year, man. Jeez, on Pete's
Well, yeah, because
doing anything for a year. It
mhm,
just I just want to say like good on you, because like doing anything for a year is
yeah,
a lot. It takes a lot of like dedication and work. It's just like so good on you, man. I good job. Congrats.
thank
I'm
you.
happy to be a part of it. So
Well,
um so
I kind of felt bad because you came on and on the private message and you're like, bro, when do I get on?
yeah, what the hell? I kind of get it though. It's one of those. So
Yeah.
that's one of the one of the weird things about, because when we started doing Metal Gear Mondays back
Mm,
in, well, fucking what was it, like 2015 or something like that, I think it was, or something like that. It was a long time ago. It was one of those things where we did it specifically because we were looking for like a Metal Gear podcast to listen to, and it wasn't something
mm,
that people were doing at the time. And we have a couple of pretty good ones now, but at the time we were kind of like the game. And so
yeah.
when people would like look up Metal Gear podcast, it was like this weird audio drama that would
Mm-hmm.
pop up, and then Metal Gear Mondays would pop up. And
That's
so
yeah.
yeah, it's super weird. So and I don't even know. That audio drama is probably still floating around
It's
somewhere.
still
I need to
there
listen to it.
when you search Metal Gear,
Yeah,
but I
I
think
need
you
to,
guys are like one of the top ones, and then Audio Drama
yeah,
dropped down.
yeah. So it's one of those things where I like I don't want to like toot my own horn,
Hmm.
but like just to kind of give a perspective on it, which is like for a while we were like the voice for the community in a way,
Hmm.
and it turned it because the podcast turned into this it's like a monster we weren't really prepared for, with like all the interviews and stuff we did with like the cast and stuff and all this other things. And so I kind of get that, like maybe it was like I don't know if I should ask. I don't know if Sam will have time because he was the host of this thing that I did for. It's kind of like if that makes sense. Like I don't want to like
What?
put thoughts like words into your head about like why you
Hmm.
didn't ask him ask me to
Well,
be
I
on
kind
this
of figured
show.
that maybe you're like really busy because I was, I'm not gonna like blur about anything from your personal life or anything that you put
Mhm.
on the Discord, but
Yeah.
you've started a new job
Mhm.
fairly recently, so I figured maybe I'm thinking like maybe he's a little bit busy. I can try some of the people from
Yeah.
that were like towards the tail end of the show. Like maybe I can get them in, because I kind of like messaged back and forth with them, and I was like, oh, maybe he says no, and then I'm like, that's awkward.
I mean, I guess that's one of the things that like
Hmm.
God, one of the things that I've had to kind of like get over
Hmm.
in my life is like realizing that the worst thing that someone can say is no, and
Hmm.
then also realizing that no isn't the end of the world as well, is a pretty like important lesson that I've learned. I still struggle with it sometimes too, but it's always worth asking, I think, because like you never know what, well, because that's the thing is like
Hmm.
so here's a little anecdote.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the reason why we were able to interview David Hayter in person at Renton City Retro in
Hmm.
2018, 2019, whatever year
Yeah.
it was because we asked.
Hmm.
Like it was such a long shot, and we were talking to the promoter of the event, and we were just like, hey, could we do this, could we do this, and literally we just asked, and we just kind of stumbled into a 30-minute interview with David Hayter at like this convention center's like coat closet basically. It was so ramshackle. It was really quickly set up, and then that's also how I got a chance to interview Paul Eating, was because at that same event
Hmm.
a guy who he knew he was close with like talked to us, and I was like, hey, could we interview Paul? Could you make an introduction to Paul? And he did. And so it's one of those things where it's just like if we hadn't have like pushed past that fear that they'd be like, no, that we can't do that for you, then we would have never been able to do it, because it's super easy to just be like, they won't let us do it anyway.
Hmm.
We just won't ask, and we'll just like go about our day. But they were perfectly willing to help us because we were nice and cordial, and so what would we have missed out on if we hadn't have done that? So always at least ask if it's a reasonable request.
Yeah.
Can't hurt by asking nicely. So,
Yeah, and that's what I've been doing mostly because I've actually gotten tired of like being like shy and just like in the corner,
mm,
and I just decided like I'm just gonna like ask like a bunch of people that I know and like, hey, would you like to come on the podcast to like talk about your experiences? And it's been mostly yes, and it's been mostly like, well, thank you for asking because I don't normally get to like either do this or like kind of like do it solo for some of the people, and or they want to like say things that they don't normally get to say on their platforms.
mm-hmm.
So I mean, nothing crazy like like I don't steer. I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think
Mm,
that's perfectly, that makes a lot of sense too. I think it's just like, well, because you said that you wanted to like you wanted to like stop do it to like kind of like stop being shy and kind of like stop
yeah.
sitting in a corner doing a podcast. I've been doing podcasts for like some type of like media recording since I was in high school. Like it's been literal like decade plus that I've been doing this stuff. And I'm a very like kind of like open, like out loud person, but like for a lot of the time I was doing podcasts, I was not. I used to be a big introvert. Like
Hmm.
I hated talking. I hated talking to people. It exhausted me to talk to people. And then the more that I did it, the more I kind of like came out of my shell. Legitimately, have completely spun around. So I still have my tendencies as an introvert, but I'm a lot more extroverted than I used to be. Um, so it's just it's you get a chance to talk and talk to people, and you have to like ask questions and
Hmm.
do stuff, and it's a big it's a lot more helpful than you realize, I think.
That's a perfect segue. And it's probably like, I don't know, I would say maybe people have heard, maybe people haven't heard because it's different because now with like people coming into the fandom, like recently jumping in, some people may have not have had the opportunity to listen to Metal Gear Mondays and and hear your story of how you got
Yeah.
started. So I'll just bring it back and say, like, how did you get started with the franchise?
So I love telling this story because I've it's my dad. It's because of my dad.
Hmm.
Because when I was a kid, my parents got divorced when I was very young. I was like 3 when they got divorced. And so when I was a kid, I would spend weekends with my dad. And Friday nights was like a ritual for us. We would go to the store and we would get some Shasta cream sodas, and I would get my little thing of bubble jug bubble gum. I don't know if you remember bubble jug,
Yeah, I do.
but yeah, some gum dust that you would just turn into chew and hope for the best. And then we would get Pizza Hut, and then we would go back to my dad's place, and we would watch Boy Meets World,
Hmm.
and that was when it was still on TGI Friday on TV. And then we would play video games. He had a PS1, and because we went to Pizza Hut, we had
Hmm.
the Pizza Hut demo disc that had the original Metal Gear Solid demo on it. And we would just obsess. I would. I don't know about
Hmm.
my dad, but I would just obsess over that demo because it was so cool. It was like, what is this? What is this? Like, you have to sneak around. I've never played anything like this before. It's honestly the first game I remember like playing. Like, I have history with video games before that, but like none of it stuck in my head as much as Metal Gear did. And so Metal Gear Solid, the demo, we would just play the demo constantly, constantly. Um, he didn't have like the most money in the world, so it was just like, but I was like perfectly happy to play that demo over and over again. And I remember just one random Friday we got back, and I was like, where's the demo disc? And he was like, I've got something better. And he had the game, he had bought the game. And so we just played that game constantly, and I would play it and I would get frustrated, and he would take the controller, and we would take turns, and it was just I don't know, it's just a really formative experience for me. And so it's like it's my dad these days doesn't play as many video games. He doesn't really, he plays like NBA 2K, whatever. But
Yeah.
um the reason why I am into video games and play as many as I do is because my dad nurtured that in me when I was a kid and used that as quality time. And I have a really soft spot for Metal Gear ever since then. Um well, the early ones maybe. I may be the angstiest Metal Gear fan, uh Kojima X whatever X
Hmm.
Kojima fan you're probably gonna have on the show. I have a lot of opinions,
Oh,
but
yeah. I was gonna say keep. I was gonna say go with it.
well, so
Hmm. Do
I
you
was
like?
kind of
Yeah.
getting worn down. I love, obviously I love 1, I love
Hmm.
2, I love 3. 4 is very divisive for a lot of people. I really like 4. Mechanic wise, it's a
Hmm.
great game, like great playing game. The story is buck wild.
Hmm.
um and I think the way that me and Alessio, who is was the other one of the other original hosts on the show, we described Forrest's story as Kojima kind of like hate fucking the fans. Because it's just so like it's full of just like every possible plot contrivance and fan service and crazy nonsense that you could possibly ever think to put in there. And obviously it was like it was supposed to be Kojima's last Metal Gear, and
Hmm.
so it was just like a complete explosion. And so that was one of the first games I got when I had a PS3. When I got my PS3 for Christmas one year, it was Metal Gear Solid 5 and Burnout Paradise. Those are the two games that I got with it initially. And so I loved 4 at the time. I remember going back and replaying it for the show, and it was at a really weird time because I was taking another personal break from the show around the
Mm-hmm.
time we were covering 4 originally. And so I had like a really weird disjointed experience with it, but overall I like 4. Peace Walker I didn't play until the show,
Mm-hmm.
which I really like. Peace Walker. Peace Walker's really good. The bosses are a little much, but the game itself, the rest of the game is pretty great. And then you get to Ground Zeroes, and Ground Zeroes is incredible. It's like a really great contained experience. I think Hideo Kojima needs to be contained sometimes because he goes a little far with things. Um, and I was just like, this is really cool. If this is any indication of what 5 is going to be, this is great. And then 5 came out, and 5, I think I'm on record. I think
Mm-hmm.
5 has the best, like it feels the best to play. It's the
Mm-hmm.
best, like as a video game, it's the best in the series. The stealth is great. The controls are great. Like it's a really great experience to play. But then it's just the completely barren, like semi-open world, and the story's all weird. And I was just like, this is not it. I did not like 5. It was
Yeah.
just too much. And I was starting to kind of feel a fatigue, and like the more I kind of like looked at 5, the more cracks in the armor of the rest of the series I was seeing, and I was just like, oh, I don't want to feel like this. And then Death Stranding came out, and
Mm-hmm.
played that for the show. And I admittedly, we played Death Stranding on the podcast for like a really like kind of like condensed timeline because it was like right before Christmas and it was right after the game came out. We didn't want to like delay episodes too long, so we were just like, yeah, we just got to play it. And so we crammed a lot of game into a shorter period of time, and that I think Death Stranding is best experienced kind of like at leisure, like
Mm-hmm.
as you feel like it. um but and again, it's another game where it's just like the gameplay, like I would love to just play a game like that where I'm just walking and I don't have to worry about anything, but that's not what it is. The story is also there as well, and it makes you go back and forth and do all these things, and it makes you backtrack with like decaying, like it's just like it's hard. It's so hard. I was so angry. Didn't I was optimistic, and then the
Mm-hmm.
more I played it, the worse it got. And you can tell if you listen to those episodes, you can kind of like
Mm-hmm.
tell the point with which I was just like, no, this is bullshit, and I don't like it. Um, and so that was kind of when my like what am I trying to say? Like
Your fandom.
my
Oh,
rose colored like view into the fandom of Kojima kind of like shattered. I was just like, don't like. I still have a special place for like the original 3. I think 4
mm-hmm.
is a little too much at this point. I like with all the weird story stuff. Um, I haven't gone back to 5
Mm-hmm.
since played it for the show. I'd like to. I would replay Ground Zeroes, I think, because if I'm looking for that like gameplay loop, that
Mm-hmm.
Ground Zeroes is the kind of like the perfect microcosm of that. But that's kind of where I'm at. Um, yeah, not as big of a fan as I used to be, but still hold
Gotcha.
a place in my heart for better or worse. I've got this fox tattoo here because it's a pretty
Oh yeah, nice.
yeah, it's a pretty important, like it's a pretty formative part of my kind of like gaming development, and it does still have a special place in my heart, so I'll always carry it with me.
Was it the whole Kiefer thing for 5?
No, it wasn't even Kiefer.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even Kiefer.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I didn't even care about it being Kiefer. Like it sucks that David didn't get involved at all, but I didn't really care. Like
Yeah.
it was just like it was just like the story, the way that they delivered the story, it just felt very disjointed. And people are going to argue about this until the day
Yeah.
the heat death of the universe. the story didn't feel finished. Whether or not they say it was finished doesn't take away from the fact that it didn't feel finished. Like it felt, I don't know, it just felt empty. It didn't feel like it had any heart to it. There were like the big points, like spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 5, but there were the points where you like had to go into the medical wing and like kill
Mm-hmm.
your guys because of the virus and stuff like that. And that was pretty impactful. But like, how much more impactful would it be if it was like in the middle of a game that had more heart? You know,
Yeah.
it felt like Kojima was phoning it in for the sake of the fact that he had to make another Metal Gear. He didn't want to make another Metal Gear, and he did it because he has an attachment to the franchise. He's like any auteur.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like when somebody else is coming in to do my thing, I don't like that. And so Konami was willing to do Metal Gear without him. He was not willing to do Metal Gear without him. And so it showed. Like the more he did, the more Metal Gears he did, the more it showed that he was not very into it. And 5 is like the epitome of like soulless, I think. And
Mm-hmm.
especially like with the open world as well, there's just like there's nothing to
Yeah.
like there's so much travel time, there's so much walking, and then it's just like you have a horse that could help you travel faster, but like your horse has to become your companion, so you can't have one of your other companions with you to help and during the thing. And it's just like there's so much wrong with their open world construction that could be fixed in like a few little tweaks that they just didn't do. But because they didn't do it, just those like two or three things make for like a really lackluster experience as far as like the open world goes. Because when you're in places that are filled with people and you're
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of these like situations, it's great playing it, sneaking, stealth, all that other stuff. Even the firefights, like if you get into a firefight, those are cool too. um but like everything, like when you're doing stuff, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so filled with filler missions and just all this other nonsense stuff that it just kind of detracts from the overall experience. And I think that if a lot of the filler was removed and he was forced to kind of like rein in his sort of ambitions a little bit, it could have been one of the best games of all time, could have been the best Metal Gear of all time. But just like as a baseline, but like game of all time, like could have been one of the best, because it is, as a game with mechanics, it's probably
Mm-hmm.
one of the best stealth games that there is, honestly. So
And this is what I usually tell people. Like, I'm in the same boat with you. Like, it didn't bother me with Kiefer Sutherland. And it was kind of like, kind of wish David was here, but I'll
mhm.
take it as it comes. The only thing I've told around to other people is like, I think maybe you possibly would have pleased everyone that if you actually gotten both actors to say
Mhm.
all the lines, say every single line, Ground Zero, start with David, Phantom Pain, back with David. But as the game progresses and you keep going further and further into game, his voice starts to degrade and in comes Kiefer's voice. So
Mhm.
this way, when you get to the end, Kiefer's the medic,
Mhm.
and it would like kind of like explain like, oh, the voice is changing and altering because we're seeing the reality of what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Yeah, and that's a great point. Like you're kind of
Mm,
like the world is kind of unraveling around you. I refuse to believe,
mm,
with all the technology in this that exists in this world, that they were able to take this guy and completely make him look and have the memories of and
yeah.
interact with and be Snake, but they couldn't change his voice. I think like they changed his appearance, they changed
Mm-hmm.
everything about him. They changed his memories. They changed
Mm-hmm.
how his thoughts and his memories. They made him into the ultimate soldier just because he thinks he's Snake.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't change your voice, dude. Like what do
Yeah.
you like what?
Seriously.
That's such a weird plot hole for me with 5. But I think your idea is even great too,
Yeah.
where it's just like, yeah, David's in Ground Zeroes and David's in Phantom Pain, and then like at some point like it starts switching, and like you could even
Mm-hmm.
have like David tone down the Snake voice a little bit, and then slowly transition to Kiefer doing kind of a Snake voice, and then transition to just Kiefer by the game's end.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the reveal comes and Ishmael reveals who he is, that's just David.
Hmm.
and I mean, it would work. Like it would
Yeah.
work really easily, but I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking there.
Uh,
I do, like I said, I contracts being contracts and things.
hmm.
I think it is a little weird that after all those years of kind of like loyalty and like coming back and doing stuff that they didn't bring David back in, and I wonder if it was like a Konami decision less than a Hideo decision. Um,
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, we have a chance to get Kiefer Sutherland to do this character, kick David to the curb. Nobody cares. But overall, it didn't bother me, but it is kind of a weird, like,
Hmm.
why couldn't they, or at least it's like a cameo or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And I would say like Kojima seems to have like a type when it comes to like vocal for his protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be like very well, not very, but like somewhat gravelly voice types.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, and
I
Norman
wasn't,
Reedus.
yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't surprised with Norman being in Death Stranding.
Well, what do you think about these rumors about Death Stranding 2?
I mean, I kind of believe it because I saw a video of Norman Reedus doing laundry, and his idea of doing laundry was to dump an entire container of Tide into the laundry machine instead of
Great.
using the scoop cup. And I was like, yeah, I can't believe he would let it slip.
Yeah.
Like, he
Seems
wouldn't,
a little like,
yeah, he wouldn't
yeah.
think anything of it. He'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm working on Death Stranding too. Whatever, move on next.
Here's my I don't understand how Death
Mm,
Stranding 2 works. That's my thing.
yeah,
I
because
like
yeah,
no, that's really, that's just my brain kind of like going off on a tangent, but like I
yeah.
don't understand. I don't get I played it. I know how
Hmm.
it ends. I don't understand how they're supposed to get that second one out of that.
It's like I've heard you guys cover it, and I haven't played it yet. I've gotten the
Hmm.
director's cut on PC, and I'm like about like close to 5 hours in, and I just hit like mission 3, and
Okay.
I'm just like, this is a really fucking long game. Like, holy shit. And then
Yeah.
going from you guys talking about it and then hearing about two, I was like, well, how is there going to be a two? Like, I thought that was it. Like, I thought that was like, we've kind of somewhat fixed the issue with what's been happening.
Yeah. Well, that's a weird thing about Death Stranding as
Mm,
just a game, is that you, after a certain point, like you get to like some missions, and then you're just like, how is this even going to continue in
mm,
its contained self, let alone a sequel? Because it's just like you have the quote final conflict,
yeah.
or what should be, in my opinion, or what was built as the final conflict. You have it like 4 chapters before the game ends, and then there's those last 4 chapters. There's so much, and it's
Mm,
it's mostly just like padding and getting you to like walk a lot, with a lot of like, with less resources, so it's more frustrating.
mm,
um so I was struggling to see how there was more just Death Stranding.
mm.
I don't even want to think about what 2 is, but
I mean, it's probably a prequel.
probably, I mean, that would
That's the
make
only thing I think of.
sense. That would make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm at a weird crossroads, because it's just like, do I want, like, if Death Stranding 2 comes out,
Hmm.
do I want to play it? Do I care enough to play it?
Hmm.
Because if it comes out, I'm in a position where I can just, if I play it, I can just play it at my leisure. I don't have to worry about cramming to cover it. I don't have to take notes.
Hmm.
I don't have to do shit all anything. And so I wonder if like having that freedom again
Hmm.
to do that um would make it worth playing again. So I don't know. I'll that's probably a game time decision on me.
Yeah, because I spoke to Warren with this about Death Stranding, and I was trying to remember like it came out like relatively when the pandemic was starting, right?
Yeah, it came out like right before it came out, like, because
Yeah, yeah, because I
the
remember.
serious the
Mm,
serious part of the pandemic happened in March of 2020, and so it came out. I think it was October. It was either
mm,
October or November 2019. So it was just like we had it in our hands for
mm.
like 4 months, and then the pandemic happened. So
Yeah, because I was saying like when the reviews came out, they were kind of like in the middle, like it's decent. It's a game. It's a Kojima game. Nothing like going like, oh wow, this is like
you know,
superb. And then when the pandemic hit, everybody was like relegated to like stay home if they weren't essential workers.
mm-hmm.
And I was thinking to myself that, if that didn't happen, where people were stuck at home playing a game about connecting
Yeah,
strands and connecting with other people, when everyone was like didn't know what the fuck was happening and scared and trying to have their own connections, would have been as successful as it
That
was.
is that is a curious thing, right? Well, so I have that question not like
Mm,
not just about Death Stranding, but like Animal Crossing
mm-hmm,
is another like big game that came out like literally like
mm-hmm,
the week before a lot of America hit those big lockdowns. And Animal Crossing is a very popular series, and I'm sure it would have done like huge numbers regardless. But like the Switch Animal Crossing
mm-hmm.
was was one of the biggest games of the year and still continues to have huge numbers. And I wonder um if that would have been different, if it would have just been like a normal Animal Crossing game if it
Mm-hmm.
hadn't have been a pandemic. I think you can ask that question of like a lot of stuff that happened
Yeah,
like right on the edge of the pandemic, where it's just like, would this be as huge of a thing right now if people weren't forced to stay home?
yeah,
Which is, I mean, the only reason why I'm into TikTok right now is
mm-hmm,
because it was like the one thing aside from like writing, it was like the on YouTube, it was the one thing I would do that would stop me from spiraling. I would just like sit and watch 4 hours of TikToks in bed and like just drift away. So it was like, would I even be using TikTok now?
mm-hmm.
Or I mean, if I was like in as big of a capacity as I do, because it's still a big source of entertainment for me. And I asked that question about a lot of stuff. I have like a really cynical like I don't want to get too far into it because I know you can kind of get heated, but like I have that
Mm-hmm.
view kind of a cynical view of like the protests and stuff that happened in 2020 that
Oh,
summer,
okay.
because so many people were turning up for protests and
Mm-hmm.
so many people were really vigorously tweeting and shouting about like everything that happened with the killings and all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
over the summer. But like as soon as restrictions started like lifting a little bit and people could go do things again, it started getting real quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't hear companies pandering about diversity
Yep.
anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see people like going out and protesting anymore. You don't see people like talking about it nearly as much as they should. And it's gone back to kind of like, this tragedy happens, we talk about it, and then it goes away, and then another tragedy happens, and then we talk about that one. So it's kind of gone back to the status quo. And I wonder a lot of the time, like with media, with
Mm-hmm.
social causes, with things like that, like how much of that was driven by the fact that there was nothing else to focus on. um so that's maybe like a cynical view of it. Like I like to think that people have like the best intentions, but you know with everything being equal, this world is kind of what it is. So
Yeah, and I understand. I'm like I'm also there too because like a lot of people are talking with like during those protests, they've kind of like went back to their lives in a
yeah.
way, and I'm like again sitting in the corner and just like where did everybody go?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
because yeah, that was like because everybody was like called it was like call to action. Everyone was like let's go to the streets and protest our anger, get our voices heard out there and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And when yeah, of course, when everything's like closed off and people are limited, they reach out for something to like hold on to, and that was one of them. And it's kind of sad that like it didn't continue. Like obviously we still have somewhat protests, especially going on
Mm-hmm.
recently with what happened with Roe versus Wade and
Mm-hmm.
like women. And I see it on social media like they're out there protesting, but the numbers don't look as big as they were before,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
and
what
even
like it's frustrating.
and even that too, as recent and kind of devastating as that was,
Mm,
I that's even slowed down. People have kind of even stopped talking about that as much too, which is it's
I know.
wild. Like it's just I people, that's the thing, is like people, the reason why people need something to focus on. And
Hmm.
so when you tell people that they have to stay inside and they can't hang out with their friends and they can't do this, can't do that, they're going to find something to focus on. And
Hmm.
that was just like that was the thing of the moment. And it's easy to be really focused and energized about something when it's first happening,
Hmm.
but as you get further away from it, it's really like, admittedly, it's very hard to keep that like anger and that
Hmm.
energy up all the time. Like it's legitimately hard. Like it's you can't be here all the time. Like it's
Hmm.
just not, you're not gonna be happy. It's not gonna work for you. But like you do have to come back. That's kind of the point. And
Yeah.
so a lot of people held that energy, and then once they had something else to focus on, they just didn't come back, which is unfortunate. But which leads to the question of, did that help Death Stranding? And I think it did.
Oh
I
boy.
think well,
Yeah,
because
I
like
would say. Mhm.
games weren't coming out. That was the thing. Is like
No,
all these they were, because obviously there was a pandemic.
they were put
Studios,
on hold.
nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew what they could work on, what they could do, what they couldn't do. And so we had the games that we had for a long time. And like again, Animal Crossing was kind of like that last big release before the
Mhm.
pandemic, and that was huge. And I think I know a lot of people like replayed Death Stranding several times. I know a couple of friends that like played it for the first time because why not? Why not do this?
Mhm.
And so I fully think it got a lot of shine, a lot more boost because of the fact that there was a pandemic happening and lockdown was happening. I don't want to sit here and like push up my glasses, and be like, yeah, definitely it would have just fallen away if there wasn't a pandemic, because I don't know.
Yeah.
It could have kept on doing really well. Um, I truly don't know, but I do think that because it was there
Mhm.
and it was just like a big meaty thing that people could just sink their time into, when that's what people needed, was something to sink time into. I definitely think it helped a lot. So
Yeah, I was gonna say like if it didn't like if it was none of this ever happened, like the pandemic didn't happen, um, probably like Jeff Keighley would have boosted it on
yeah,
his platform.
yeah, like Hideo
Because
Kojima's boyfriend.
like sometimes the memes are like it's he's being controlled by Kojima, like it's his robot or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. I don't even know the guy. Like everybody talks about him so much, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, where the hell do I know him from? And I don't know, I'm probably you correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't he part of like the whole G4 TV back when it was like a while back on TV when they had their own
You
TV
want to know?
channel?
Hold on, now I need to look this up, because
Like
you want to know
I don't
the
know.
wild thing. The wild thing, I don't think he's a
Okay.
journalist. He's a
Okay.
games journalist. That's where he started. But like, I'm kind of realizing that like Jeff Keighley kind of just appeared in the world for me. He
Yeah.
was just there. He was just there one day. Like he was born in the shadows. Uh yeah, he hosted Game Trailers TV and G4TV.com.
Okay.
That's right.
So it's
Yeah.
probably like like in the early stages of it. That's probably where I'm
Mm-hmm.
remembering him from. Like I remember watching that and like when it was ending, um Mark Maron was like hosting it because they had no
Mm,
host because everyone was leaving because it was it was ending. It's like it's over. It's like goodbye. Like
yeah.
let's just put a bunch of people out there and like try to see if the numbers tick for us and all that stuff. And I just thought it was hilarious. Like why is Mark Maron on on here? Like you got this one guy. Like I'm pretty sure he has played games in the past, but not these
Mm-hmm.
games. And even like I can see his like his facial expression. He's like, "What the fuck am I doing here?" Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm taking the
Why am
money,
I
and running
here?
with it, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play these games. And I just thought like that's just pure gold right there.
I still remember,
Hmm.
speaking of that kind of attitude, I still remember when Jeff Keighley, he was still kind of experimenting with the Game Awards. And
Yeah.
there's that one year that was like all like video. It was like digital. It was like, it wasn't pandemic, but it was just like they
Hmm.
just decided to do like a variety show instead of like a traditional award show. And Joel McHale was one of the hosts.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
Joel was just like, "You nerds, I'm taking this money. You guys are dorks. Fuck this. I'm putting my bare minimum in." And I thought it was funny, honestly, because like, yeah, like, what do you expect? But it was just like, it was so funny.
I was gonna say going back to Metal Gear, like how did you
Yeah, yeah.
feel? How did you feel about in Metal Gear Solid 2, the little switcheroo when you first played it?
Um, I so I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't
Hmm.
remember the first the first time I played. I don't remember how I felt about it. Um, but I don't think Raiden is cool. At least
Hmm.
Metal Gear Solid 2 Raiden. I don't think he's supposed to be cool. Um, so I'm trying to figure out, because I was gonna say
Hmm.
I think Raiden's cool. but he's not cool, and that's not his point. That's not the point of him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm on board with the idea of Raiden. Like if I'm thinking about it now as an adult,
Mm-hmm.
going back to it, like I like the idea of that bait and switch, of having Raiden be the character. And I like what they did with Raiden in 4. Again,
Mm-hmm.
one of those over the top crazy things. I think Revengeance is phenomenal. um People can say what they want about that. Revengeance is A+. um uh but yeah, I think it was really interesting because like there are so many theories, the theories around Metal Gear Solid 2 have been talked
Mm-hmm.
about to death at this point. But like it is really cool to kind of like recontextualize the first game using this like kind of like weird newbie character, because it kind of like
Mm-hmm.
puts a lot of the themes into perspective from the first game that maybe people who played the first game weren't thinking about, and now have the ability to think about with somebody else who is also thinking about them for the first time. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it was a kind of a cool way to do it. um I always the thing that really stuck with me about the Metal Gear Solid games,
Mm-hmm.
not the Metal Gear games, but the Metal Gear Solid games, is that like we start the series Metal Gear Solid with Solid Snake, and we only have Solid Snake as a character in 2 and like a quarter games, not
Yeah.
even a quarter, like 2 and some change games. Whereas like you play as Raiden for most of the second one, and then obviously 5 Ground Zeroes, and most of the series is Big Boss, but in 3. So it's kind of weird to that's the thing that's weird, because like the series is named after him.
Mm-hmm.
The 3D series, like obviously the old Metal Gears are also Solid Snake, but um Metal Gear Solid is named after him, but he's only like in it for like a small portion of the grander life of the series. That
Yeah.
feels weird.
I
So
mean,
that's the weirdest thing, I think.
yeah, because like you're right, because it's like Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, 4, 5, V, whatever you want to say,
Yeah,
and he's not really in all of them. And
yeah.
that's what I thought was like weird. Like I thought they would maybe change the title. Like I thought maybe the idea was like, all right, you're gonna like say it's just called Ground Zeroes or Metal
Mm-hmm.
Gear Ground Zeroes. I don't know. But even for that one, it's like there was really no Metal Gear in Ground Zeroes.
Mm-hmm.
And with Phantom Pain, you had like a really
Mm-hmm.
sophisticated Metal Gear
Mm-hmm.
that was way more sophisticated than
I It's just like,
ones
where
we've
did
seen
like,
before.
yeah, where did that technology go? I mean, if you look at Sahelanthropus
Yeah.
and like how he's built,
Hmm.
you can like you take some things away from him, but like if you squish him down, he's just Rex. His
Yeah.
like head is he looks like Metal Gear Rex, but for some reason Metal Gear Rex isn't able to stand up. So
Yeah, I know.
whatever.
Yeah. As soon as I was gonna say, like with Phantom Pain, like when like Sahelanthropus is like gearing up to like shoot the railgun at you and like kind of crouching down, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's Rex.
That's just
It's like,
Rex.
what is
Yeah.
Rex doing here, coming after me?
Get that Rex shit out of here.
Mm-mm.
Um, um, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's weird because obviously they stuck with Metal Gear Solid because that was the name that had the
Yeah.
brand recognition. That's literally the reason why they did it. It was the brand recognition. But it's just weird that the Solid doesn't play a lot of a big role in a lot of the series. Like 50% of the Metal Gear Solid series doesn't have any Solid in it. So it's always
I
weird. It's a
mean,
weird one.
it might be like a combination where it's like Konami and Kojima, like that was kind of like the compromise. Like you have to have
Yeah.
solid in each of these titles because everyone's going to recognize the
Mm-hmm.
title, like you said before, like you said.
Yeah.
And I would say, Sam, do you have anything that you like to bring up?
Um, I don't know. It's weird because
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like it's one of those things where I just kind of like I emptied out like almost every thought you could have about
Mm-hmm.
Metal Gear over the course of like 5 years, and we did that whole like big like
Mm-hmm.
what was that finale season, was like 12 hours of like constant just
Yeah.
talking about it. I don't know.
I would say you're not
It's
the only one. So far,
yeah,
from what
yeah.
I've heard from Tori, it's she's just finally jumping back into it after all this
Mm-hmm.
time. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I can understand.
Yeah.
It's
Because like
sometimes it. Yeah.
I just like that's the thing is I never stopped doing content, but like
Mm-hmm.
focusing on Metal Gear and Kojima specifically is like
Mm-hmm.
that's where the that's where the kind of like the train kind of stopped and
Mm-hmm.
like built up the cobwebs for a while, and now it's kind of like I'm like pushing it forward a little bit. It's like, hey, just a little bit further because the station's right there. I gotta talk to you about this. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of I can't really think like if you, I would love to
Mm-hmm.
like if you have any questions that you are curious about me answering, I would love to answer like rapid fire. Like, what do you think about this?
Anything in general, or
Yeah, just say. Well, I mean, yeah, Metal Gear, but anything in general, I'll answer whatever. I am an
okay,
open book.
let's.
I'm an open book.
Well, like my idea of rapid
Self-promotion.
fire is like there it is.
I guess that's a closed
Is
book
that
you
the
don't open a
actual?
book to.
That's the
Yeah,
actual
this
book,
is the
not
this
like
is the
the mock-up. I
yeah,
would
no,
say
this is the final. This is
the
what
real deal.
if people order a hardcover from Barnes and Noble, this is what
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna get. It's got all the words, got the stuff on the back. This is it.
Now, did you self-publish?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
Yeah. Um
'cause I was curious about that.
I
Mm-hmm.
thought about the idea of going through the traditional publication
Mm-hmm.
methods, but it's just like a lot. It's a lot. It's
Oh
a
yeah.
lot. So I was just like, I'm just gonna self-publish. It seems to work out. Like, because one of the thing is like I've talked about this in some other places, but
Mm-hmm.
the job of writing this book, what's important to me is that it is out there for people to like obtain and read and
Mm-hmm.
experience. Um i didn't do this because I wanted to get rich.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about money. I just like it's just something that I did that I want people to experience and have a good time with. And I yeah, I just self-published it because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
um a friend of mine is an author, and he self-published, worked for
Mm-hmm.
him. So I kind of picked his brain, and I did it for me, and it works. It's working for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to do everything, put it out, set everything up the way that I wanted to set it up, and it comes out when I wanted to come out, and I kind of get to control the message of it. Even though I'm really bad at excuse me, I'm really bad at marketing, but I've got some pre-orders, and I know people are going to read it, and that's
Mm-hmm.
cool. So self-publishing works great if you're I mean, people self-publish and they get
Mm-hmm.
game busters all the time. So I'm not saying that it's just like, yeah, if you're content with selling 10 copies and you can self-publish, because that's not the case. People use self-publishing to hit the jackpot all the time. I'm just saying, I think if you're a writer or you want to write something, all you want to do is kind of just get it out there in as efficient way as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Self-publishing is a great way to do that because there's no middlemen.
Mm-hmm.
You're literally alpha and omega of this book's life. So I think it's great. I love the idea of self-publishing. If it gets big, like I'm not really expecting it to get big. It'd be cool if it did. I love that, but if it gets big and I can talk to like publishers with leverage, then
Mm-hmm.
I might do that. But for now, I'm happy with the idea of self-publishing my stuff. Yeah, it's working great.
Yeah, because I think even I asked you that question, like where, what outlet gives you the most bang for your buck, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I have set my margins on these things so
Mm-hmm.
incredibly low, like to the point where I think I'm making like hell. I'll even look it up because I'm here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you see who pre-ordered it?
I can't see who did. I can see
Oh, but
that
you can see the
people
numbers.
yeah, I can see the numbers like
Gotcha.
this many got pre-ordered on this date, so I can see that. Um
It's like I know I pre-ordered it, I think on Amazon because it was like the first thing that popped up.
hmm
And I was like, I'm gonna go to Barnes and Nobles and wait, no, I have to like go online. Or could I get it any Barnes and Nobles? No, I could order
it,
through them.
yeah, it
They're not
works the way
that busy.
I told my grandma is like super and she doesn't know how to use tech. And so
Hmm.
I gave her the ISBN, and I said, just call Barnes and Noble and have them order it for you. You can go pick it up.
Yeah, that's true.
So um but yeah, let me look at the thing here. So view book details. I'm on my Barnes and Noble press account right now. Fancy, fancy.
Yeah, I know, because I had to go to Barnes and Noble's like 2 weeks ago to get my Creative Gene book, and they didn't know where to get it. They didn't know where to find it. We looked in like 5 different sections,
Oh,
and it
interesting.
ended up being in like in movies and TV category,
Hmm.
which I was like, oh, I didn't think about there. They first thought gaming. I was like, that makes sense. Gaming, yeah.
Yeah, so just like
Yeah.
so full transparency on
Mm-hmm.
like what I'm making. I am making $2 per paperback
Gotcha.
sold on Amazon. Like I'm not making a lot of money. I'm making more with ebook,
Mm-hmm.
but like I even prefer people get the physical copy because I think it's cool that people are
Oh.
like I wrote this and so they can hold it and like people are holding it, like reading it and like cherishing it. Like I am not like an anti ebook at all. I love
Mm-hmm.
ebooks. I think they're great. I think they have a place. But I just it's my first book and I love the idea of people having and holding it.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't make a lot of money. I make like $2 on Amazon per paperback. I make less on Barnes and Noble.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the paper quality is a little bit higher on Barnes and Noble, but
Yeah.
I like it really doesn't, like I don't really care. I'm not it's not the money is not why I wrote it and put it out there. It's I just want to share stuff with people. So
Gotcha. Do you have, is there a an author's picture in the book? Can I
yeah,
ask about
it's
that?
yeah, it's at the very back. I got an
Mm-hmm.
author about the author. I was supposed to do like a photo shoot and whatever, but I just like
Yeah.
it got a little close to time, and I just a bunch of stuff came up. But yeah, it's got a little picture of me in the back,
Oh, nice.
a little about the author blurb back there. But yeah, author picture. There is no table of contents, and that's on purpose. That was on purpose because those chapter titles will
Mm-hmm.
throw you for a loop if you see them too far in advance. So don't
Oh,
read
okay.
ahead. Don't read ahead.
Oh, I get you. I get you. I get you. As I say, like perfect. There's a photo there, so then when people get the book, they can see what you look like, and then when they see you on the streets, they can like run up to you with their books and be like, "Please, can you sign this for me,
Yeah,
sir?"
I would like it.
Yeah.
That's like okay. So
Mm-hmm.
that I would love that. Honestly, I think a lot of people. I think people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm sure like if I was like actually famous, I feel like I would probably not. I would not have this opinion as strongly, but like
Gotcha.
the fact that like what I do is so like niche. If somebody came up to me and was just like, "Hey, you wrote this, would you sign it?" I'd be like, absolutely, yeah. And do you
Like,
want a
let's
selfie?
go.
And like let's go, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the one thing too, is just like because I know that I know what the listener metrics were for Metal Gear Mondays for such a long time, and I know where listeners were, and like all the time I'd be like sitting in like the McDonald's drive through and order some food and be like,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they recognize my voice from Metal Gear Monday. Just like not even like in an egotistical way, but just like a what if like fantasy, like daydream kind of way.
Yeah.
And then yeah, just like all that kind of stuff. So I think at the stage that I'm at, I think that would be cool. But
Mm-hmm.
if I take off, ask me again in like 10 years, and also we'll see if I still think it's cool. But
I would say like because I've told you on messages as well that I'm my thing is that like I go around to all the baseball parks to get like stamps from St.
yes, I think
Peter's.
that's
So
so cool.
I'm heading out in your general vicinity, so I will hit you
Yeah.
up. I'm definitely
Yeah,
gonna hit you up.
absolutely.
I'm no lie, no BSing. I would definitely hit you up for a ball game, and then
Yeah, I would love that.
and if I have the book with me, I'm making you sign it at the ballpark.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah.
Yeah, because
make a big make a big deal out of it. This is a published author right here
I'll just stand
signing a
up
book.
in my being like the guy from New York, like, yo, everybody, listen to this guy right here. He wrote a book.
It was like you get a fly ball and you have the book and you're just like, oh, and
Oh,
that's how you catch the ball in the book.
well,
And then
my
I
luck,
can I can sign the ball and then it's a little thing.
I was like, my luck will get struck in the head.
Oh my god. I went to a baseball game
Hmm.
a couple months ago at T-Mobile Park.
I know.
And a fly ball like landed 2 seats away from us, like from
Oh,
me. It was in
yeah.
our row, and I was like, damn, I really would have liked to have gotten that, but at the same time, just like that, like That would have, if I would have even been paying half as much attention, that would have clocked me in the head,
Hmm.
and I'd be dead right now. So it was just cool. We were on TV. It was neat. So
Oh, nice. You guys were on
yeah.
TV?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I find,
that's the best part.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
So
I was the same way with me and my wife. We're Mets fans, so we like go when we do like a lot of road trips. We'll try to like coordinate and see if the Mets are playing in the cities we're visiting, and we just haven't been like, yeah, it worked out for Pittsburgh. I think this is like 2016, and um, the team was not doing so great like they are now, the Pirates. And the tickets behind home plate were like so worth the price. I
mhm.
was like, I'm never gonna sit there like in any ballparks that I normally go to.
Yeah.
It's like there's no way this price is gonna be anywhere near to what I can afford. And so I did it. I pulled the trigger, got the tickets. I surprised my wife with it because she was like, "Oh, we're just gonna go to the ballpark and sit in the outfield." And it's like, it's like another ball game. And that wasn't even the best part. The best part was that the fact that we were seated next to Marlins man, who was like hot, like after
Oh man.
this was like after he was like done with the Marlins organization. This was like I think when they weren't taking his money anymore, like wouldn't give him a
Mhm.
discount for his season tickets because he was complaining like the product sucks. Give me a
Mhm.
deal. I'm spending a lot of money here, and they told him like no, pretty much told him go pound sand, and he's like I'm putting my money elsewhere,
Yeah.
and we got
I will go pound sand. Bye.
and it was great because like I didn't bother him. I didn't want a photo because like it was a national televised game on ESPN that I was recording. So
Yeah.
I always have a copy of it, and I told like
Yeah.
everybody like you better record it on some type of like VHS or anything so I can like keep it. And it was just like a fun ball game where he's just like showing me lawsuits that's going on with Major League Baseball.
That's amazing.
And I was thinking to myself, like, why is he so infatuated? And my wife just like kind of like kneels in and goes like, he's a lawyer. That's why he loves this shit. I was
That
like, oh, that makes sense.
makes a lot of sense.
I was like, I'm just sitting here being a big doofy fan.
I love going to baseball games like in like live baseball. I
Hmm.
have a hard time watching it on TV, but like when you're
Oh,
there, that my
yeah.
favorite thing about baseball is that there's when you go watch a game, there's not a bad place to sit.
No.
Like even way up, like you can see the whole field. Like it's a great time. It's a great place. Like it's cool to sit like behind plates and like behind home plate and like in those
Hmm.
like lower decks, but like you get a great experience regardless of where you sit at a ballpark. And I that's what I love about it. It's just so much fun. The energy is great. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say like that's pretty much what I've pretty much been doing. Like going to a lot of ball games my whole life, being a Mets fan. Like because just like Metal Gear Solid, my mom got me involved with it. She was the gamer. She she purchased the PlayStation, and we
mm-hmm,
compromised and we're like we're getting Metal Gear Solid. Like that seems to be like the only game we're interested in right now.
mm-hmm.
And she played it for like the first like 20 minutes, and she was just like pass the controller like here
You do
you
this.
go,
Yeah.
I'll watch you play. And I was like all right. And it was
which
mm,
which Metal Gear player or character do you think would be the best baseball player?
oh, it depends, like are you looking for like a pitcher or someone that's like gonna play the field?
Somebody's going to play the field. I think that could be
Mm,
two different answers, right? Like if you're looking for like
yeah,
a batter or somebody who can play the field, who would you think would be the best?
I'm gonna go with like the big boy route and go with like Vulcan Raven, who would
Oh,
probably be like
okay.
this ginormous man, like bigger than any ball player right now. And he could be my catcher. Like I don't think much is gonna get past him.
Yeah, probably not.
They go like way over.
I think Raiden, but
Mm,
circa MGS4 Revengeance would probably be because all you have to do is replace his
mm.
sword with a bat so he doesn't tear the ball to shreds, and he'd like
Oh
slow down
yeah.
time and be like knock him out every time. That's what I think.
I also think like probably for pitching, I'll probably pick Revolver Ocelot.
Yeah,
Or maybe
Ocelot would be
like
good.
Ocelot with like the robot arm. Was it a robot arm? I'm trying to remember
I
before.
no, he had Liquid's arm. He
Oh, that's right.
Big Boss had the robot arm. I don't think Ocelot ever had a robot arm.
I thought he replaced it, like the limb, like he got rid of it. And he had some kind of like weird thing in four.
No, I think it was
No?
just Liquid's
Oh,
arm.
okay.
Yeah,
I'm probably remembering that wrong.
that'd be
Oh
cool if he
well.
had a robot arm. My hand.
Good
Yeah, I don't
times.
know. Good times. I don't know what like
Mhm.
anything. I can't really think of anything specific to talk about. I just
No, and I would say like because of the Discord, I left wrestling, like WWE wrestling,
ooh,
at
yeah.
WrestleMania, and then everybody was like starting up talking like, "Oh, it's so much better." And I was like, "Is it safe to go back after Vince was like exiled?" And they're like, "Yes, go back."
Yeah.
SummerSlam was where it started,
Yeah.
and so ever since then, like, yeah, I've been jumped back on it again.
Nice. Nice.
And,
Yeah, it's an interesting time. It is getting a lot better. There's a
mm-hmm,
they're not pay-per-views anymore. They're premium live events coming up.
mm.
As we're recording this on Saturday, they have the Clash at the Castle is coming. It's the first pay-per-view in Wales that they've
Oh,
done in
okay,
a lot. Yeah, so it's in Europe, it's in the UK. Um so that'll be fun. It's a big week of wrestling this week. Just like
yeah, I saw it.
as we're recording this. There's Monday Night Raw was last night. Today is NXT. Um, Tomorrow is AEW Dynamite.
Mm-hmm,
Then there's Friday Night SmackDown, Friday Night Rampage for AEW, and then Saturday they've got Worlds Collide, which is an
mm-hmm.
NXT show, and Clash of the Castle, and then Sunday is All Out, and it's just like it's a lot of wrestling. I'm watching all of it. Damn it.
Oh my God,
It
that's a lot of content for
is a
once.
lot of content. It's a lot of content to consume, but it's like that's the other thing. Wrestling
Mm,
is also one of my like favorite things. Like I love wrestling so much. So, and I have since I was a kid. It's just, and I
mm,
never. A lot of people like grow out of wrestling, which is fine.
mm-mm.
I don't think I ever did. I think it's just because I love the creativity of it and everything. It just speaks to me. So,
Yeah, no, that's one of the things like also with me, like I never grew out of it. Like I started like in the late 80s with WWF
mm,
and going into like WCW days.
hell yeah.
That's where it kind of like solidified and it just continued on. Then yeah, because I was gonna say like where did it start for you for wrestling?
it was when I was a kid.
Mm,
My dad was in the military, and so he would sometimes he would have to go off and work like a night shift, and I'd be home alone, and so I would just watch whatever was on TV at the
mm,
time, and I just happened to stumble across an episode of SmackDown, and I was just transfixed with it. I was just like, "This is cool. I love this. This is great," and like I just kept watching it, and so that's how a lot of stuff that I like started with. My dad was
mm,
kind of like my dad was away, and so I just had the TV, and so I watched stuff. That's how I got into Doctor Who, because it was on Doctor Who was like it was a huge long running show, and then it got canceled,
mm,
and then it came back in 2005. Well, in 2005, my dad was stationed. He was in the Air Force. He was stationed in England, and I was home alone, and we only had those basic 5 channels, and BBC was one of them.
mm.
Turn on the TV, there's BBC, there's the premiere episode of Doctor Who literally just starting. So I was there for the revival of Doctor Who, and I got to watch it as it was happening. And so that's another thing that I'm really into that kind of started because of my dad being in the military.
Mm.
So yeah.
I would say I'm somebody who has no experience with Doctor Who, and I was curious about it
it's
too. How
it's
would you?
really good. I think it's kind of it's had a little bit of a downturn the last couple of years just
Mm,
because the stories haven't been quite as like quality as they used to be, but it's still good. I think people will tell you it's awful, but
mm,
it's not. It's at least good. If you can get over some like cheap production design, sometimes the revival series like 2005 onward
mm.
is excellent. I think it's all on HBO Max right now to watch if you want to watch it, but I recommend Doctor Who. I like Doctor Who. It's fun. You have to like
Mm,
get over the fact that like sometimes it doesn't make sense because time travel never makes sense.
mm.
So there are just some like plot holes that you'll run into that just like, huh? But you don't have to ask those questions because time travel, and that's great.
Well, I would say like I need something different because the whole like with like Marvel movies, it's almost like I'm being drowned with all that content, and it's like you say every movie is gonna be different. You say every movie is gonna be supposedly great, but it's all the same thing. Like the next movie
Mm,
is the same one. It's like you have a formula. It's a Disney formula, and they're just all like
mm.
following it, and it's just like I'm. It's like I like guys like come on like be a little different.
Like, bring it
See,
back to those days.
here's the thing. I get that
Mm-hmm.
and I respect that. I'm part of the problem because I
Uh-oh.
love them. I love the MCU. I don't care. I can consume. I'm Disney's Marvel's perfect consumer. Just give
Mm-hmm.
me as much of it all the time, always. I love the MCU. I get why people are getting tired of it. I do understand. I don't I don't
Mm-hmm.
I don't throw any shade or I don't like debate with people about why they should care
Mm-hmm.
about the MCU. Like I don't do that because I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't be me.
Oh,
I want
gotcha.
everything. I want everything.
I mean,
So
and I was gonna say, and that's the thing about me, like, I'll complain, but then I'll go watch it anyway. So it's like the thing where it's like I want to suffer in the content. Like,
yeah.
just like, if you're gonna just kill me, just go on, give me.
Hurt me more, Marvel.
And
I get that too.
you
Right
know
there
what?
with you.
Yeah, and for a while it's been like the movies that were out, it was mostly like X-Men or like the
Mm-hmm.
Blade movies. It wasn't a lot. So now to find like everyone gets their wish, and it's like, here's all this content you could
Mm-hmm.
ever have craved for. And now people are like, no, we don't want any
No,
more.
it's
Go
like
away.
the monkey paw. Well, that's the other thing too
Mm,
is well because we've got all the movies were all of the movies coming out were already enough for people. Then there's the TV shows, so the
yep.
TV shows also are um
They're
adding to
adding.
it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's adding to the collection.
and then they've also just announced like all the stuff that's coming out for Phase 5 and 6 too,
Mm-hmm.
which like they announced all of Phase 5 and then they're probably going to announce the rest of Phase 6 at the Disney Expo coming up in September. So it's just like it's a lot.
Oh my
I
God.
fully get it. I understand, but I love it. I'm here for it. I'm weird.
Well, it's like, it's also kind of like great because the TV shows they're not too bad. Like, I can understand that there is some like limitations. Like, you can't like have like a movie budget for a TV,
Hmm.
or you can, but you gotta like spread it out to all these episodes you have. So I can like get over like the little like, not well, might be little, but the imperfections
Hmm.
that you get, and and then I can like submerge and like go into it and fall for it. So I'm enjoying like all these other stuff like on Disney Plus,
Yeah.
like Miss Marvel and like She-Hulk and
I
Moon Knight.
really, yeah, I really, really love the TV shows. The TV shows
Mm,
have all been really, really, in my opinion, been really good. I
mm,
think aside from Loki and maybe WandaVision,
mm.
all of the shows would have benefited from like one more episode
I'll get you.
because, yeah, because they kind of like the thing that they've kind of had, the weakness that they've had, like I said, Loki and WandaVision have been the exception, but the weakness that all of those shows have had so far is that like they end
Mm,
and they like they stick the landing but like they landed and they kind of like tripped forward a little bit and
mm,
then did the pose. Like that's kind of what the shows have been so far, and so She-Hulk remains to be seen, but
mm.
all the other ones are kind of like that. And so I think they all could have benefited with just like a little bit more development, one more episode, and they probably would have been fine. But I like them overall. So
And I would probably segue into like, do you believe there will be a Metal Gear Solid movie?
oh my god.
Because I mentioned Oscar Isaac, because he wants to be Snake.
He doesn't
He
want to be
he
Snake.
can't find
He
Snake. They're looking
he
for him.
is he is Snake if you believe some reports. Man, this damn movie.
I
I
Yeah, go ahead. For the longest time, I feel like it's been somewhat in some type of production. Like, there's always been talks, even like
mhm,
from like such a long time ago. I could remember like Steven Spielberg was like
mhm,
mentioned at one point, and Tom
yeah.
Cruise, and I was like, that was like a long time ago, like really long time ago.
So here's the thing about Jordan Vogt Roberts believes
Mm-hmm.
that it's still happening, or at least he has an inkling enough to keep trickling like little bits of like breadcrumbs in.
Yeah.
And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's all we need to believe is the supposed director of the movie still thinks it's a thing, despite everything. Um, but man, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
I
know
don't see
either.
it.
Because I think
I
it
don't see
says
it.
I think it says by his name that it's rumored. I don't remember. It could have changed.
It
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 could be
could
like,
have
yeah,
changed. It honestly could have changed. I really don't know, but he hasn't talked about, as far as I'm
yeah.
aware of, he hasn't talked about it in a while.
No, he hasn't. It's been like quiet in his end, and people are like, "Oh, he's working on other projects. He's busy." I'm like, "Well, he was really like hard gunning for this thing. It was like
Mm-hmm.
pretty much like saying like, I am directing this thing, my vision, and here's some like
Mm-hmm.
images that I'm thinking of for the movie, and don't worry, the times are bleeding."
Mm-hmm. I don't know. He might have
Mhm.
memed it into existence, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, if it comes out, it's absolutely because Jordan Vogt Roberts memed it into existence. So, my
Mhm.
opinion, I don't think it's going to happen. But
No.
again, Hollywood is so bereft of ideas at this point that, like, maybe it will. I don't know. I don't know
Who
about
knows?
anything. I'm just a guy with a keyboard on the internet like everybody else. I don't know.
And what do you think about Konami and the fact that they took away games on digital platforms? And now they're talking about like, hey, we'll bring it back maybe, at a later time and date,
Yeah,
possibly.
well, Konami is trash. We knew this.
I mean, just look at Guillermo del Toro's tweet.
Mhm.
FK.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. They don't
Mm.
want to make video games. I know they
Mm-mm.
don't. They're better. They're honestly better off like doing their pachinko machines and selling their IPs to some other company at this point because they don't want to make them. So why
Mm-mm.
bother?
I mean, they're re-releasing their other shit. They're re-releasing, like with the
Yeah.
whole thing with like, well, the whole debacle with like Castlevania and their anniversary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the unformentioned, I will not name three-letter words because I got tired of it. Like it burned me to the ground.
Yeah.
Everybody talking about it and all those people like tweeting about it, like following me. I go like, dude, I don't want to talk. I don't listen to your shit. Like you don't want to. You don't want to listen to my shit. I want to listen to
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah. This doesn't fill
Ooh.
me with joy. I'm gonna Marie Kondo this situation and throw it in the dumpster.
And then the whole thing, it's like everyone's excited, like, oh yeah, Teenage Mutant Turtles Cowabunga Collection, which is pretty much like re-releasing all their games of the history
Yeah.
of the Turtles with Konami.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
I
well,
mean, I don't know. It's weird because like they clearly don't want to be making games, but they're still doing this stuff, and like
yeah,
because they know they can cash in on the nostalgia of everything
exactly.
and get money to do what they actually want to do. So yeah, I don't know. Konami be
I don't know.
Konamiing.
I don't like. I don't know. Like, I have no idea. I'm just a guy who like loves the series and wants to talk to other people and be like, hey, what brought you to this series and stuff like that. That's
Yeah,
that's my story.
I think that's admirable. I think I think that's nice to do.
Mm,
I think you should do it as long as you feel like you want to. It got to
mm,
a point and this I'm not telling you this to, like, scare you or anything like that because
mm,
that's not the intention. It got to a point with Metal Gear Mondays where I was just like, I am so burnt out on
mm,
this thing, I just can't do it anymore, and so I didn't. But I think that also came with the added layer of, okay, we have to do all of this stuff, we have to play these games, we have this timetable and blah blah blah, and it was not casual at all. It started off very casual, and then
mm,
it very quickly became not casual at all. And so I think that if you feel, it's one of those things where it's just like, do what you love,
mm.
and if what you love starts to become something you don't love, don't be afraid to walk away from it, even
Yeah.
temporarily. Even temporarily, it doesn't have to be forever. Like, you can walk away temporarily and get a renewed interest in it and come back. But I think a lot of people are, wow, this went somewhere I was not expecting it to go. People,
Mm,
I think a lot of people feel so strongly about they have to keep
mm,
their dreams and things they love. They have to keep doing it because then they don't love it as much. But like that's the easiest way for you to destroy your love of a thing, is to just do it to death until you don't love it anymore. So my overall advice to you
mm.
is do it forever if that brings you joy. But if it stops bringing you joy, don't be afraid to be like, I need to step away. from it. And that's advice for anybody, honestly.
Yeah, and that I understand because that's happened to me in the past with other like projects I've had, and this seems to be the one where it's like I actually truly enjoy it. I enjoy setting up these scheduling. I enjoy editing these episodes, which now I'm actually learning how to edit it properly.
Yeah.
Going back
Yeah.
to like my old episodes and like I gotta remaster these because these sound like shit. And I've like said on social media like these were train wrecks. I'm gonna go back and remaster them like because they're horrible.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you go back and listen to like the very first episodes of Metal Gear Mondays, it's the exact same thing. Keyboards and dogs barking in the background,
Yeah.
and just all that kind of chaotic, echoey room tone and stuff. It's very compared to where it got to. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because like I was gonna go back and listen to like the classic episodes, and you guys were like, "No, don't do it."
Yeah, don't do it.
And I never did, and I was like, maybe I should, but no.
I mean, I think
mm,
that was mostly a joke. I think they're good.
mm,
Well, it's hard to like the first season, the first Metal Gear Solid season.
mm,
I think it's fine, but it's very, and there's a lot of like funny jokes in there, but it's very clearly a little ramshackle, and I think it's mostly because so we did for the rest of the show, but for the first ever season of Metal Gear Solid, me and Alessio didn't play the game again. And so we were just going off of like a guide in our memory, and that caused problems. That of just like us skipping stuff and like rushing over things and forgetting things. Because then you had Cameron and Isaac like being like, wait, what about this? And it was just a mess. So that first season, that's why we went back and like redid Metal Gear Solid to do it justice and actually play through it. But it's fine. I mean, it's amateur. It's amateur kind of to listen to, but it's fine. It's not bad necessarily.
like I'm blank. Like I had these questions in my head, and I'm like, I should have like wrote them down.
Yeah, that's always
but
my
I
downfall
didn't.
too. But I didn't. That was my problem with the show too. Is like I would have to write my stuff down, otherwise I would just forget stuff. Like I needed to take notes to talk and like talking points, and like I think I talked about this on the show too. Like if I thought of a joke that I thought would be funny for the show, I'd write the joke down and then try it on the podcast and see if it worked out. Like I'm big on notes. Big on notes. Big notes guy right here.
Yeah, no, because like I've like had people on this that like from other podcasts, and like I'll tell them like, hey, you guys are like way super organized, way like right on the money. And when you come with me and talk with me, I'm just gonna be like blip, 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 everywhere, up and down, left, right, and be like, I'm over there and you're over here, and I'm like, I'm gonna ask you questions, like, yeah, and then when they get on, I'm like, I had questions for you.
I think that's okay too. I think if you like know, like we know each other, so it's fine. It was one of those things where it's just like doing interviews with the actors, like the voice actors for the series, was always so nerve-wracking because I knew I needed to have notes because I didn't want to come across to them as like unprofessional. So like I have to have this laid out. We have to have this structured perfectly, otherwise it's gonna be over. We'll never get like Cam Clark is gonna, if we don't do this perfectly, Cam Clark is gonna tell all of his friends that we're hacks and
be like, that was
want
shit.
to talk to us.
Don't talk to those guys ever.
Basically, I mean, that was the fear. Like, are we good? Like we have to be extra good, otherwise they're gonna not want to talk to us anymore. So,
I don't have anything else. I can't think of anything. Right. How long have we been doing this?
Like an hour and 20. It's been a decent size.
Yeah,
because we hopped on and started recording pretty soon after, so about an hour 20 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, I would say, what time is it where you are? Like, what is it, 3 hours
it is behind? Yeah, it's 6 past 6 here.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say Sam.
Hi, it's me.
It's surreal talking to you, a person who I've listened to many episodes of. I would say, and that's not being insincere. That's actually being sincere. I've told people like, listen, you were like the voice in my head as I'm like driving like from like Pennsylvania to Connecticut, like going across borders and like driving on like and keeping me sane and awake. Basically.
Well, I'm happy. It's one of those things where it's just like I'm happy to have been that for people. I like just like keeping people awake, keeping people distracted at like jobs that they don't like, like people who like have struggles like I have, like I've talked very openly on my YouTube channel, on the podcast, about like my struggles with depression and anxiety, ADHD, things like that. And like people reaching out and being like, hey, you helped me through this. It's so surreal. Like you put things into the world hoping that you'll like enrich one person's life. So to know and to have confirmed helped more than that is really astounding. It's kind of crazy to me, but it's cool. It's cool anyway. I'm happy to have done it. So, and even though you don't drink them anymore, we'll always have our energy drink drink banter.
I would say like I've been clean since that come to Jesus moment.
Yeah, and that's good. I'm proud of you for that. I think that's cool. I don't drink them. Like I will have, so that Monster, they have that Monster Aussie lemonade thing, and that's like the only Monster I'll drink anymore. And I'll have one like maybe like once a month, if that. So that's my cap. That's my limit. So, but I'm very proud of you for just cutting them out because they're terrible. Terrible.
Oh my God. Dude, I was withdrawing. I don't remember the word now.
Yeah, I mean,
that first week I was like sweats and headaches, and I was like, am I dying?
Tweak. It's a stimulant. Like it's a drug. Like that's what it is. It's insane. It'll get you. Plus all that sugar too. It's just like, man.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm a big proponent of cutting out soda and energy drinks from your life. When I first moved to Washington in 2017, I weighed like over 300 pounds. I was not healthy. And literally all I did, I stopped drinking soda and I lost like a bunch of weight. I was like sub 200, like not sub 200. Jesus, I'll never be sub 200 in my life. But like sub 300, I'm doing good, and like it's a good place to be. So I am a big proponent of not drinking soda and Monster and energy drinks in general. But as a treat every so often, I think it's fine. Gotcha. But it also helps that like energy drinks don't do anything for me because I have ADHD, so it affects my brain different. I just drink it for the taste. So
gotcha. Yeah. I would say like I was like when you came on, like, wow, Sam's looking really good. So like it must be like,
thanks. Like, well, I'm not looking good now. This room is like hotter than hell, so I'm like sweating like a stuck pig. But yeah, thank you.
No, because I think like I had this like image what everyone looked like, and then when I see them, I go like, wow, they look better than I thought. It's like, what was I thinking?
It's weird seeing people. Like it's weird because like you see people in you see people in motion. Like you've seen like videos and stuff like that of like people. Like I have a YouTube channel, so you've seen my face. You know what I look like. You know what I look like. You know, oh, here we are. We're moving around. But because you're now talking directly to me and you're like we're having the conversation, it just feels different. Like it's a different experience. I get that completely. Had that with all the actors as well, where it was just like, yeah, I've seen videos of them and I've seen things, but like, oh, I'm looking at you directly now. I'm looking at David Hayter, and like I can see his manner. Like it's just different. Like you know what somebody looks like, but you don't really know what somebody looks like. It's very interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have much else to say. I mean, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. That's very cool.
I would say like thank you for taking the time to be on. Like,
yeah,
because I don't know everyone's schedule. That's why I always say like, hey, I'll put messages out there and say, like, don't get back to me immediately. If you're super busy, that's cool. People who haven't responded.
Yeah. I'm glad we were able to do it, get the turnaround really quick, because I think literally I asked you on Friday, was it?
Yeah.
Or something like that. And I
was surprised like how quick it was, because I first when I read the message, I was like, oh, he's on vacation. And then I reread it. Like, no way, he came back from vacation.
No, I got back Thursday night, and then because like you can tell on the Discord when I'm gone or when I'm on vacation, I'm doing something, because like I will just disappear. Like, you won't see me. I'll make like a comment here or there. You just won't see me because I get so distracted doing other stuff that I just forget to post. But like if I'm back, like I'm posting regularly again, like, oh, he's back. He's not on vacation anymore. So, and I'm like that on the weekends too. Like I know I sometimes I'll post a lot on the weekends, but like generally speaking, I kind of disappear on the weekends because I'm just like recharging. Like even if I'm not doing anything, like I'll try and like disconnect and like recharge as best as I can. So
it's like chilling and living life. That's what we can do.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and I appreciate you having me on and taking the hey, what are you doing? Why didn't you ask me? Taking that in stride.
I
That
at
was I
first,
was I was
yeah.
goofing.
Okay, I was like, oh wow. I was like, is Sam serious?
No.
Serious?
I
Sam?
was not. I was not offended. I was not. I figured that knowing that you had Tori on, I figured you'd get to me eventually. But I was just like, I'll just push the envelope. I'll push the button now. I want to do it. Damn it. So
You know what? I don't care who wants to come on. If they want to come on and talk Metal Gear and shoot the shit, I'm all
yeah,
for it. And that's
all
what I've
for
been
it.
doing so far.
I'm a big fan of doing content that I don't have to edit. So I
There you go. So leave a lot of
so
like, you know,
happy to do it.
leave a lot of like empty spaces on the tracks there.
Exactly. You got it. Otherwise, like I like just make it just like get really like close to the microphone, make it really difficult for it.
Like, oh my god.
It's
Like that's uh so Sam, where can the people reach you?
The people can reach me. I am on Twitter at Sam versus Sam. The word versus is spelled out, obviously. So it's SAMVERSUSSAM. That's my handle everywhere. So you can, my YouTube channel is youtube.com/Sam versus Sam. If you're interested in my book, it's called UnYielding. I didn't really say, but it's called UnYielding. It's this urban fantasy thriller that I'm really proud of that I wrote over the course of the pandemic. It's out on Barnes and Noble and Amazon, and you can get links for those at Linktree /Sam versus Sam, linktr.ee/Sam versus Sam. The links that link is also like if you go to my Twitter, it's the link. You can click the link there. My YouTube channel has links to it as well, so you can kind of find it. I'm around.
I would say I would probably put a lot of links in the show notes to like
Yeah,
everything you said, including the back catalog of episodes for Metal Gear Mondays, your show, your vidcast, the turn audio.
vidcast YouTube channel, just just whatever.
I had the words in my head, and I was like, my mouth is not saying English is very hard. Let's just say
it is very hard. It is incredibly hard for what? And for what? No reason. Damn it. I got a bone to pick with English, but that's for another time.
I would say like for a while there, like when I was growing up, English was not my first language.
Really?
Yeah, my parents, who were both Hispanic, and my father was from Ecuador and my mother was from Puerto Rico, they only spoke Spanish to their firstborn, never English. So when I had to go to like, you know, school, everyone speaks English.
You had to learn English by peer pressure, basically.
I had to go to speech therapy, and then I ended up with like a stutter for a while there, and I was like, oh, life was tough.
I would have never guessed.
Stuttering a little kid.
Would have never guessed.
At first when you came out, I was gonna make a little joke, and I'm like, "Hi Sam," I was like, "Thank you for coming on the show. This is the show where it's like hot metal and hotter gears."
You should have. That's your listen. I'm passing down an edict. That's your new tagline. Hot metal and even hotter gears. Oh man, that's excellent.
And then I was gonna say, Sam, we're like, where can the people see you? This camera, that camera over there. Plug it in. As you can see, I've been watching a lot of hot ones.
Hot ones, yeah. We didn't do an Instagram deep dive. Maybe next time.
So I'm going to thank you once again, Sam, for coming on. Thank you for coming on and for sharing your story.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
We did it.
It's
We
done.
did a podcast.